Welcome to For Music. My name is Nirmika Singh. I'm a journalist, poet, songwriter, and with me today are some fantastic, amazing, talented artists across the board. Uh, it's that time of the year where you're going to see a lot of women across the board display a show of strength. So while we're going to stay away from tokenism this Women's Day, we're going to be acknowledging this month for the significance it holds. We have women artists from business, from songwriting, from composing, and from management here today. And this is an initiative presented by IPRS, which is the Indian Performing Rights Society, Dolby, and Artist Aloud. So how many business leaders who are women are likely to be in the same room that you are?
I think there are a lot of women in this space, but are they in a position where they're either responsible for business or, driving something, from an entrepreneurial or an entrepreneurial, however you term it? I think that has been a bit of a challenge. And in fact, I can give you an example of us having really even identified that when we were looking at, doing our own awards and bringing in jury members from the music industry. I could only think of, Apurva Purohit from Radio City or Jagran as somebody in that position, on par at least in terms of the level of people that we want to bring in as jury members. The rest of them, I mean, if you actually look at the music industry, I think it's been the same set of boys that have been just, going around every record label. So I don't know how soon that is changing. You do see a lot of new people. I think there's been a lot of women getting into, from a behind the scenes point of view, whether it's artist management, whether it's production. Those are areas where you are definitely seeing a lot of more women. Because for some reason, I think, I mean, having started my career as a singer, I think women were always considered to be in front of the camera, and that was really sad. So I think that is, of course, changed. But how many women are going to be playing a pivotal role in the business side? I think we are very far away from that. If I take my own
Right.
example, the opportunity came for me to build something, and I was able to do it. Uh, but you got to keep proving yourself. And trust me, I mean, uh, you are heard, but you're possibly not executed. You know what I mean? I mean, your ideas would be heard,
Right.
but it it takes time, and I don't know whether that is because I'm a woman or what it is. But it definitely is. Even after you reach a position, you still are trying to figure out how to get yourself heard. You know.
Right, right. What an interesting point. You're heard but not executed.
It's great to see women from behind the scenes doing their bit.
Natanya, how is the environment at home in terms of, just your passion for producing music, right? A lot of parents are unable to understand that there's also a production element to music. They understand that you want to sing or want to play an instrument. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, no one in my family is musical at all, so I don't know where I got it from. But I think they were obviously very worried because they just didn't know anything about the business. They didn't know anything about music. And when I said I wanted to go to LA to study, they were just like, no. But they're my biggest cheerleaders. So I basically spent a whole year in India proving that I really wanted to do music, and I went to Alfred's choir because that was the only English thing I could find at the time, and I did Trinity College exams and all that stuff, and they saw that I really wanted to do it. And ever since I went to college, they've just been my biggest supporters. My It's funny you say the behind the scenes thing, because my dad, I have to give him the highlight reel because he won't understand if I'm he's like, where's your voice in this song that you've written? And I'm like, I wrote the words, I wrote the lyrics. So then I have to explain to him the music, but he will go and he has a playlist of my songs on his phone, and he'll go play it for anyone that will hear. And anytime
Okay.
he's on a flight, he'll come and give me a PR thing that he told the person next to him. And they're seriously the most supportive parents ever.
I know, I know. And I can imagine a scene, at least for myself, when I speak of, all the stuff that I do. What would I be without this unwavering support of my parents? Just a belief that whatever I believe in, they believe in too. All of you to identify one tiny little problem or an issue in the scene that is entirely fixable, right? Like if only people just were able to point, towards something and find a real practical solution. I could start with myself, right? The one way that I can fix the other end of the music bit, right? You don't find a lot of women music critics, so a lot of women writers, a lot of women who are, who want to build careers as entrepreneurs. I'm a new entrepreneur too. The one way that I know I can fix it is by hiring more women, right? I would absolutely, practice affirmative action and have more women interns. If I were presented with like a sort of dilemma, so I would choose probably a woman because I know that she's, her ambitions would be a lot more audacious in terms of knowing that her work timings will be erratic. She'd probably have to explain at home why she wants to pursue music. So I'd place those things. So hiring for me would be the one way I could make the difference. Yes, yes, please, Neha.
I feel that everybody could fix, in the studios is clean bathrooms.
Sure.
Because not even the best places in this
I
country.
agree. Oh
Well,
my God.
I mean, I sometimes don't go to some studios because of the bathrooms, and they are so expensive studios. In fact, I even had an experience where I posted a line about some studio, and then the authorities came to the studio and stopped my recording because on Facebook I said that there's pretty much just one studio which is clean for us to use. I mean, basic clean, and this came and stopped my recording. And the recording was a rhythm section, and I had spent a lot of money on it. So I had to I literally was on my knees to tell them to let it go this time. And I said that, yes, I think it was a very millennial thing of me to do, to post about it. Maybe I should have, but I did complain to the to the management around, but it seemed like nobody was reacting to it. And I had a whole day to spend there. So the instinctive impulsive thing I did was to post about it, and that got all the attention, and my recording was stopped. And then there was this small cabin of, a glass walled cabin where there were 5, 6 men sitting, and I had to stand, and I was literally on my knees begging to start the recording just because their bathrooms are so dirty, and even then I had to. It was just too like whatever. I don't know.
अनुष्का बताइए फ्यूचर परफेक्ट इंडस्ट्री कैसी दिखती है?
So it's a mixture of what I would like to see for women, I think, in this industry, and then just the industry in general. One is that women need to stop judging each other. That's like the biggest thing. We need to support each other rather than judge each other, and we know a lot of that happens, The second thing is, I think we need to be really good at our jobs. मौका नहीं मिलना चाहिए किसी को बोलने का कि because she's like this, or she's like, you hone your skill, you hone your talent, never stop learning, just keep getting better.
Tell me one thing, Priya, how did you get into music? Right from beginning, matlab bachpan se, there was somebody in the family into music, or you were the prodigy, just go music?
No, in fact, so nobody in the family. My grandfather used to sing garba, but it's like any other Guju family. Like, garba is something which everybody sings in the house. But yeah, nobody in the family. I'm the only child, who is gotten so far into music. Yes, yes. Yeah.
So great. So music has been there as in your environment, or उसमें आप करते रहे. Great. And so does the support of the family कि करो, अगर शौक.
Yes.
Supposing you're writing a song, okay, which Jigar is composing, and since composers also write a bit, just to just get the mood of it and all that. So do you think when a male mind writes a romantic song and when a female mind, writes it, when you write it, Do you think the perspective is more from a feminine mindset? फर्क पड़ता है या it's the same thing?
I don't know. मैंने ऑब्जर्व नहीं किया ऑनेस्टली, बट एज एन ऑडियंस, क्योंकि मैंने अब तक जितने भी गाने लिखे हैं वो हीरो के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से लिखे हैं, एक मेल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ही लिखे हैं, चाहे वो जीना जीना हो या जी करदा हो, विच इज अ हार्डकोर ब्रेकअप सॉन्ग हो, तो कहीं भी मुझे नहीं लगता है कि आई हैव एवर इमेजिन कि अरे ये तो लड़की वाली बात बोल दी, या वो it's like a situation. It's like who's going to play that character in the film, and you just imagine that and you write.
So, but do you see a difference between a film song, writing for a film song, or a non-film song? Because singing, I think singing is the same thing. For film ke liye gao ya non-film ke liye gao, you sing, you're portraying and doing what the words are saying, what the tune requires. But writing में, do you think difference आता film का and इसमें?
हाँ, I would say definitely difference आता है, because film में आपको एक structure, एक layout already पता है, as I said, who's going to play which character, what is the situation, कहाँ पर गाना आएगा, उसके पहले क्या हो रहा है, बाद में क्या होना है. So you go through the script reading and the narration and all that. So and when it comes to independent music, it's like it's completely a different, you can express yourself. यहाँ पे कोई limitation नहीं है. It's like this is the tune, you do whatever comes to your mind.
Manasi, you play the role of being a singer, songwriter, actor, host, and so many. How do you create a balance between being able to do? How do you manage, like, trying to do all the stuff?
There is no balance. I'm just really, really grateful for the work that comes in. So anything that comes to me as work, before lockdown, I would say that, okay, Parveen, if she's here on this webinar, she'll tell you we used to have a rate, we used to have a fee. During lockdown, we decided that times was so tough. As you know, I did 180 shows from home, and not just, got onto social media and sang. I got dressed every day. I performed like it was a stage concert. I think it's, once you're grateful for what's coming your way, and once you're, it doesn't feel like balancing so many different things. It was a little difficult in the songwriting space because I had to leave sessions in the middle when my son was younger, because I'm a single mom. But now that he's in boarding, and all through lockdown, he was so brilliant to be around, because he would just give me my space. I would be working, I would be figuring out things, and slowly and steadily I moved into a space where I'm comfortable working with my child around, with him not around. I'm comfortable saying no. I'm comfortable, and I've always been a supercharged energizer bunny. Anyone will tell you. You know how people have alcohol to jump about. I have alcohol to go to sleep. So for me, it's like I'm constantly 24/7 on the go. In fact, my friend Chef Abrinder Sandhu asked my mom the other day that, in Punjabi, she said, anything like throughout her childhood, mom said she's calmed down now. She was double this energy. So I think that never really makes me use words like balance. And I think, it's something that that I think we need to even change as a dialogue. It's not about balance, it's about just being rock star women. There's so many single moms, so many people juggling, balancing so many things, and that's a narrative I'd like to change as well, that everything in life is balanced, of course, on a karmic level. But I think at the end of the day, it's just, don't stop moving, get out, do everything you can, and you'll find that there's space for everything in your life then.
Ananya, I just want to know one thing. You're into music and at the same time the world of business. How do you manage to do these two things simultaneously?
Yeah, it's something that it takes a lot of discipline, and I am on the path of still learning how to balance it. There are a couple of things. I think the first thing is that there are like 4 things that are constant every single day. So one is my morning meditation, my journaling, my vocal training, and my drums. Like, I know these 4 things help my mind, and workout. Sorry, 5 things, right? These 5 things help me, help my brain stay, sane and calm, and healthy. They also help me with my skill set. So these 5 things sort of I keep constant every single day. And then each day I would really say it's a 50-50 split. So usually the mornings it depends on where I am in the world. So right now I'm in London, so India's behind, like I'm ahead of India right now, time difference wise. So in the morning I'll finish all my important meetings for the businesses, and then I'll have like a half an hour break where I'll go for a walk or maybe a workout. And then after that I'll get into studio. And the second half of the day is normally music. Of course, now this changes. If there's a really big release coming up for me, then I'll be promoting it and things like that. So it depends really from day to day. But overall, I think a really productive day is when I wake up in the morning, do my meditation, I do my business stuff in the morning, work out, and then really, pour myself into music, after which I do some writing and then try to, cool off. So, yeah, trying to balance it.
And what resources should be put in place, according to you, for better representation of females in the Indian music and everything in our industry? What would you suggest?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to put talent and hard work before gender or anything else. I think if someone is talented, if someone has potential, and if someone's really working hard and is motivated to achieve something, their gender shouldn't even matter. We're in a day where we are literally at a time right now in humanity where there are more than 2 genders, and we are still grappling with women not having enough freedom. It's we really need to do something about it, like you're saying.
Right.
And I think everyone in positions of some sort of influence should be doing something about it, and I'm lucky to have a platform. So whether it comes to when I hire people in my businesses, whether it's my team, whether it's people I collaborate with, it's completely gender agnostic. It just really doesn't matter to me. Having said that, I do make a conscious effort to sort of look out for women who are really talented and motivated and hard, because of the dearth of opportunity. It's also very important for men in positions of power to understand the importance of giving women opportunities. We will get there. It's just a matter of all of us coming together, having that one vision and of equality. I think equality is very, very important. In this industry, as women, we can be pushed to be in a certain way, to get more views, to get signed, etc., etc. That is only going to lead you to a really dark place. And the best thing to do is to just be yourself, because if someone believes in you, or if a label believes in you, or if collaborators believe in you for who you're not, there's really no point in them believing you in the first place. So it's really important that you remain yourself, and the right people will come your way. And if you're being honest with your art will connect with people. There is absolutely no way it won't. It may take time. Yes. And it may not be as quick as if you are dolled up in a certain way to get views, for example, or to get people to see you in a certain way. But if that's not you in any case, then why do it? So I really drill down, and on myself as well, that it's so important to be authentic, because that's where peace of mind comes from. At the end of the day, you want to create art that is you. It's a piece of yourself out there. And it's taken me a while, but just being completely authentic and honest, and then having people believe in you for who you really are and your true art, it's a great feeling. And then when it connects with other people, that's just the icing on the top. So yeah, for women out there, really just please be yourself, and there will 100% be someone who will support you, who will push you, and your art will connect. It may take a little time, but it's so important to be yourself. You don't want to reach a place where you're successful and you're unhappy because you're not yourself. That sucks.
Welcome, Abha.
Hi, sir. Such a pleasure.
Kashmiri folk is not as popular. ये कैसे आपने किया कि मैं अपने गाने फिर भी उस जोन में ही रखते हुए करूंगी? You know, you wanted to stick to your earthiness, everything. How did that come to your this thing?
सब मुझे एक्चुअली इंस्पिरेशन बहुत सीख कर रही थी एक पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे. दिस इज द टाइम वेयर आई वाज इन माय जॉब एंड आई वाज न्यू कि कुछ तो मिसिंग है एंड आई नीड टू डू समथिंग एल्स. बट वो समथिंग क्या है आई वांटेड टू नो, क्योंकि इतना डिफिकल्ट पाथ होता है एक आर्टिस्ट का लाइफ. यू हैव टू नॉट मोटिवेटेड इनफ, पर्पस नहीं है तो फिसल सकते हो. सो आई वाज थिंकिंग दैट पर्पस इन कश्मीर जहां से मैं हूँ, वेयर आई एम फ्रॉम, वहां जाके आई वेंट फॉर अ विजिट एक्चुअली डैड के साथ, छोटी सी हॉलीडे पे. बट that whole trip changed a lot for me, sir, inside, internally and out, externally, because that हमारा जो लैंड है उसके अराउंड जो डायलॉग है वो बहुत नेगेटिव रहा है नैरेटिव्स में. सो मुझे भी वो एक सुनने को मिलता था एज अ कश्मीरी who grew up outside Kashmir and then went across India to meet different people, and people used to think about Kashmir or us in a very different light. So I used to feel that कि ये कुछ थोड़ा चुभता था, समझ में नहीं आता था, बट कुछ कभी किया नहीं इसके बारे में, just left it. And then went on for that trip and sort of saw a lot of people very closely, spent a lot of time with a lot of locals, understood that this is like everybody has their own share of pain, and we've all gone through a lot. So I kind of was inspired to create music which will bring a smile or bring forth like a really positive dialogue, and people will talk about us and they'll talk about us in terms which are more beautiful, not just terrorism or tourism. It's also a lot more, so because हमारा culture बहुत rich है, so I wanted to showcase a part of that in my album. So Sound of Kashmir का idea वहाँ से आया. So सारे गाने, whether it's Hukus Bukus or Roshwala, Khan Mujhkoor, they are all related to the culture in one way or the other. Hukus Bukus is from children's lullabies to it also has a deep spiritual meaning with Lallet's poetry. Roshwala, Dilbaro Yudvalo, those two songs are about the beauty in Kashmir, Bahar, spring, but also our story, which is Chalo Chinaro ke gharo, jo वापस अपने घर जाना चाहते हुए दूर हैं. Khan Majhkoor मेरा बहुत personal गाना है, sir. It's a wedding vidai song, so I recorded it just after my wedding. I was very, very emotional those days, so it was all that I poured everything into the song. So everything is kind of Nunbani as well, the fun, folky, bohoish song. So it's all the entire album soundscape was inspired from there. तो मैंने सोचा नहीं कि पॉपुलर नहीं है, मैंने बस ये सोचा कि मुझे करना है, होपफुली लोग सुनेंगे. जबकि पता था कि 0.001% लोगों को ये भाषा पता है. It's not Punjabi जो सबको आती है. It's like nobody knows this language. But there were a lot of songs before Hukus Bukus that I did, and then Hukus Bukus थोड़ा सा somehow लोगों को समझ में आ गया and became viral. तो बाकी गानों पे लोगों की नजर आ गई. So that was, it just happened, sir. But I knew that this comes very naturally to me, and I enjoy singing it. So I just wanted to do this honestly. So that's how I picked up Folk of Kashmir.
And how did this Hokus Pokus, which got featured in Family Man, this web series, how did that happen? They approached you because you own the music. You're not with the label, right? So they approached you.
Yes, sir. So they approached me, sir. So that's the thing. That's what I was saying. The music does the job. Everything happens. So that's Hokus Pokus, a classic example for that. The song was already viral, sir, before the Family Man guys discovered it, and they were making this series, and they reached out to me, and it was pretty straightforward. The production house really reached out to me, and because it was not on the label and it was on my own label and my publishing, this one, they contacted me and I spoke with them, and I realized that it was a great opportunity for the song as well to get discovered more. It was also because it was placed in the right way also in the series, so that's also very important. Besides Family Man, my music is also synced in. Hukus is also synced in this movie called No Fathers in Kashmir, which is a beautiful film. Everyone should watch it. So that's also, I am very proud of that association because the movie is really beautiful. So that also makes me feel great. So yeah, it was pretty organic. So It was good. Till date, a lot of new people have discovered the song family.
So one of the reasons why women don't really go behind the scenes is because opportunities for them are only increasing now. So obviously they want to go out there and they want to be in front of the camera, they want to be singing, but slowly women are realizing that they are capable of much more. They can not only be in front of the camera, but they can also be composing, they can be writing. And of course there's going to be pressure because of the overall earlier patriarchal nature of the industry, and there's going to be pressure. But women today are different. Everyone's growing. And it's completely, like I said, up to the artists themselves to assert themselves and say, look, I want to write this particular music, even if it's not for you. You can even write for a female artist. You can write for a male artist. You can collaborate with people. The world is opening up for you. So the only thing stopping you is you.
It is true that the composer ratio from men to women is significantly troublesome because the industry itself is male dominated. And as someone who works in the media industry, not just in one facet but in two, one in publicity and one in songwriting, I have seen this as a common trend where the industry prefers or is dominated by men. And this definitely has to change starting today, starting 2022. And while there are women artists, women composers killing it out there, like Lisa Mishra, Hanita Bambri, Kamakshi Khanna, there is significantly a long way for us to go. Having more women composers or more women songwriters out there means more inspiration to newbie artists coming up that they can actually achieve something in the industry. So I see this as a necessary step, and I see this as an important step for 2022, especially that women artists step up, create amazing music and provide inspiration to many others in the younger generation to follow their dreams, to know that they can crush it in the industry.
I don't know if I want to answer it in that particular way. First of all, we don't have enough so-called statistics of equal number of men and women to first actually do a very fair comparison of this. Let's say Aravi, Vedant and I, both of us worked on the music together, but it was a collective sensibility and sensitivity we brought into that film. At the same time, Nati Charami was completely handled by me, where I think the beauty was that as much as the director Mansoore approached me for being a woman, but more than that, he liked my work in Aruvi. It was that first. Second is that, he really made sure his team had a lot of women. I would not say there was any gender issues that way. Women are dominant contributors to right from farming to the tradition to everything, to economy and everything. And if it's an understood and agreed thing, that patriarchal system is what very slowly changing. And in that change is a lot of work put in by women, but every part of the society has to work together to change that. So historically, if we have 10 composers today, means tomorrow there will be 100 composers, women composers.
See, when I started my journey in 1997-98, at that time, I faced a lot of problems like the producers were not ready to accept me as a film director. That they did not have that much of faith on me that I would be able to conduct that much a big thing, or I can handle a crew member of some 60, 70 heads. It was all males. But in 2021, after almost 23, 24 years, now my daughters, they are doing good.
To me, this doesn't seem like a very derogatory question at all. I personally feel that women are just born glamorous. That's the way God has ordained it. So this is just admitting the fact that women are glamorous. There's a marked difference, however, between objectifying women and glamorizing them. In my opinion, it's this objectification that's wrong.
So I definitely think that there is a disparity when it comes to males and females entering the industry as songwriters, composers, music producers, and I'm not surprised. I mean, let's face it, it takes a lot of confidence and courage to actually, choose a path of music. And on top of that, you've got a lot of males to compete with, so to speak. And I think it can get very intimidating for a few females. You do have to have a lot of resilience. You do have to have a little bit of that competitive nature to really, succeed. And I really would love to see more representation from female musicians and performers in terms of composing and writing and production, because I think that would really encourage more females to come into the industry. But yeah, I would say it's just probably that. It's just the fact that it can get very intimidating, and it can be a boys' club, so to speak. If you have a studio full of 20 guys or 10 guys working on a project, and this has happened with me before, and you're the only female in the room, it can get intimidating and it can get challenging. So I would say that there just needs to be more encouragement of women going into music production and music composition.
The onus of gender equality to begin with falls on parents, then schools and educators, then companies, business owners, and of course on all of us.
Yeah, I think this is a really important initiative, and I think work like this is in fact never over. It's ongoing. You have to continue to work on this continuously. And I think it's really about enabling content creators, enabling the entire ecosystem around music, because I think music is evolving. The whole entertainment, content space is evolving. It's becoming very global. It's new formats of delivering, consumption, creation. So there's a lot of evolution change going on. And I think, especially if you see, we see a lot of examples in entertainment where, stories from Korea tend to do well globally, from Spain, from India. So it's really the whole space of entertainment is changing, with as things move to the digital platforms. And I think audiences are much more open to consuming content from across the world now. So in terms of that, that brings in that element of diversity per se. And I think in terms of enabling women creators, I think that is essential. It's a very important initiative, and glad that we could partner with Hungama and IPRS to work on this first of its type, I would imagine, in the India market. And I think we should continue this work. Maybe the initiatives, what we do, the details may evolve and change, but I think it's really important to continue to empower and enable, women content creators with the tools, with the know-how, with recognition, with opportunities. So I think it's a really important step, and I think this work should continue.
Yeah, I think, just to also put a little perspective in this, I think kudos to IPRS to want to do this, because their focus was on composers and lyricists, which, you rarely hear when it comes to women. So I think when they reached out to us, and I'm sure when they reached out to Dolby as well, it was like an obvious step for us to partner with them and help them, amplify this. So obviously it's something that they initiated, and we've kind of evolved and helped grow it in terms of voice as well as recall. But I think it's as they say, better late than never. It was very important for something like this to be done, especially from a composer and lyricist point of view, because we do have a lot of female singers, someone as famous and known and who we recently lost as Lata Di. So when someone like her is the epitome of female voices, I think the composers and lyricists also needed to get that kind of visibility. So yeah, I think like Pankaj said, it's a beginning, and we really hope that even though we are saying it's come to an end, I think this is just the beginning of the end, and it'll now we'll have more stuff happening. So yeah.
So for us, content creators have always been very, very important. I would say the most important part of our business. And the company was founded, in the 1960s, has a strong India connection, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it's really we've always put the content creator at the center of our universe, and we design our technologies around the content creator. And our mission and intention is, how can we enable content creators to be able to tell their stories in the exact intent with which they have their, what we call the creator's intent. How can that be delivered to consumers? So when a director sits in a studio and designs a sound for his movie over months, or when a say a composer or a musician is creating music and spending so much time on the intricate details of every instrument and every percussion and every string, how can all of that be delivered to the consumer? And that's how you create that connection. You bring the consumer closer to the creator. So that's been the journey that we are on, and hence enabling content creators is really at the core of our business. So when we get up and when we start work and when we design our technologies, we're really thinking about, what does the content creator need? How can we enable? How can we empower them? So that's really the core of our business.
Yeah, so I think, one of the reasons we launched a platform like Hungama Artist Aloud was to be able to enable creators with their creativity, give them the freedom to be able to put out what they want, the way they want, and not interfere with their creative process. Of course, our focus has never been on, the gender, and it's been always on the content and the quality of it. We go through our moderation process only to ensure that it's not a cover, and it is something which is marketable. But I think an initiative like this helps you to skew your focus and your communication in a way that people kind of sit up and listen. It's just about packaging and creating a just a direction. Otherwise, like Pankaj said, there's so much of content, you can get so lost and you don't know where to start. So I think for us, we've always wanted to be able to ensure that every artist gets visibility and support on the back of the fact that they are creative. And I think women creators, even though they've not been, if I take one name that I've known for the last 20-25 years is Merlin D'Souza, one of the most brilliant composers I've ever heard of. She's brilliant on the piano. She's and she's so versatile, and the kind of work that she does. She can, do a pop song to a jazz song to, what she's done with Indiva, for example. So I think at the end of the day, it is these kind of initiatives, and I think with the right technology support, the consumer will have a great experience of both creative and sound. So yeah, that's where we come in. I think, in fact, when I had been approached by Rumpa from IPRS for the first session that we did, last Women's Day, we were fresh out of the pandemic. We were, fresh, possibly even getting out of the lockdown. And there was a lot of things happening, but it was interesting to, that session was really nice and it had so many different people, it was just absolutely enlightening. And while we had been having discussions, I think what really panned out was way more, I think innovative. Some of the people that were approached to bring on, and what we've been doing even over the last, 3-4 weeks, bringing in Raju Singh and getting him to interview a few people. I think that has been, it's obviously been a huge team effort. Everyone has put in, their bit. And I have to give a lot of credits to Karan, because he's a go-getter. He pushes all of us, saying, it's his weekly meeting, which has been getting us all together. Otherwise, it's so easy for everyone to just kind of digress. So I think, an idea becomes successful when it's well executed. And I think, if I was to put a rating out of 10, I would say we are at a 7 right now. There's a lot more we can do, but a 7 in the first year is not a bad thing at all.
Oh, fantastic. And I mean, completely echo what Somini said. I mean, for us, this was not like a brand initiative or brand marketing forever. This was a real initiative that was for enabling and empowering the ecosystem. And that's what we aim to do. And Karan was super excited about this idea. And as somebody said, when Karan gets excited, we all get to work. I mean, he makes sure he puts everyone to work. So he was very excited, and it was very clear that this was the right initiative to work with. I mean, we've been working on a few other initiatives with IPRS, and I think just the energy that's gone behind this initiative, and I think just the belief everyone had. And I think the results are just great, what has happened out of it. I mean, as I said, we've seen even a lot of tracks in Atmos come out with this initiative, which was not really the reason why we did it, but we've seen a lot of benefits come out. And I think, I think just the energy, the belief, the excitement around this program was great. And I would say it's completely, I mean, we had high expectation, but it's completely superseded our expectation. So I think it's great. And, more power to creators, to women creators, and look forward to phase 2 or version 2 of this next year.
Sure.
And great work to the entire team who's worked on this. So big congratulations to IPRS, to Hungama, to the Dolby team, and everybody else who's worked together on this, to all the people who participated. So a big thank you and a big congratulations.